What's up, champ? I'm Vince Del Monte of GeneExpressionTraining.com, and in this video, yes, I'm going to tackle a topic that's going to hurt a few people's feelings. I'm going to talk about why I'm still not a fan of intermittent fasting. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because I haven't read the research. It's not because I haven't seen it work for other people. It's because it doesn't jive with my beliefs on how we should approach nutrition and training and life in general. All right? Nobody's talking about this. When I look at a diet, I don't care what the research says. I quickly ask myself one question. Is this sustainable? Does this have longevity? Or is this a gimmick? Is this just a device? Is this just something to get attention? Is this just something that's going to work in the short term, but it's going to have repercussions metabolically, hormonally, psychologically? And when I look at a lot of dietary approaches out there, I see them as, I hate to say it, but they're gimmicks. All right? And yes, I have friends who follow this dietary approach that I am great friends with. Greg O'Gallagher, John Romanello, Brad Pilon, a lot of other guys who follow this. A lot of my clients, they're like, Vince, we don't see eye to eye on this, and that's fine. We don't have to see eye to eye on it. All right? I just want you guys to understand the context of what I'm about to share with you. I'm looking at everything from a long-term perspective. A lot of people are now asking me about ketogenic dieting. I could answer that in 10 seconds. 85% of my intake from fat, not sustainable. I got 2 kids. I love to eat. I love carbohydrates. I don't even need to look at the research. I'm not even interested in the research. Throw it all at me. I'm not even going to read it, because the first thing I ask is it sustainable? I'm Italian. I love eating carbs. I love fueling my workouts with carbs. But Vince, there's research to show that it's physiologically more beneficial. I don't give a shit. Again, I know where I stand. I stand around longevity and sustainability. How many times do I need to say that? So let's dive into some other reasons for why I'm not a fan of it. And again, I know that this has become the holy grail for some guys. And I'm not telling you to stop doing it. I'm just going to make you aware of some challenges with it. All right? I understand that other people, this is a living nightmare, and they're like giving this video the thumbs up right now. Other people are like, I don't agree with this, and giving this video the thumbs down. I don't really care, all right? I want to give you guys some perspectives on this that a lot of people aren't talking about, all right? So for me, this really comes down to practicality. When I look at diets, my lifestyle matters most. That's what matters to me. I always reverse engineer things in terms of what's going to give me the best lifestyle, even in business. That's how I look at business. I'm like, I don't want to work on the weekends. I don't want to work early in the morning. I don't want to work at night. How can I build a business around that? Same thing with nutrition. I quickly ask myself, what would be the kick-ass life? To enjoy my favorite foods, to keep eating pasta on the weekends, to have egos and bacon and eggs and syrup for breakfast. And I quickly look at the diet protocol. I'm like, that is not going to be a way I want to live. So I never do a diet protocol just to achieve a goal, all right? Because again, it's not sustainable. Maybe years and years ago, I would have been more susceptible to say trying out some of these things when I was single, when I didn't have a wife, I didn't have a kids, I didn't have this more big picture perspective. But now as a 37-year-old guy who kind of has a little more experience behind him, this just doesn't make sense to me, all right? Now for some younger guys, it's like, you're not even going to relate to what I'm saying, and maybe 5-10 years down the road when you have a family, have kids, you'll be like, wow, now I get it, but that's fine. We'll figure that out later. Into the points. Number 1, intermittent fasting. Why am I doing that? Intermittent fasting is a sledgehammer. It's a sledgehammer approach to weight loss. I believe weight loss should be slow. It needs to be something that we focus on coaxing, not forcing, all right? When you want to lose weight, you need a little fly swatter. We need a little slight caloric deficit, not a severe deficit. All right, and because a lot of people do this incorrectly, they create these severe deficits which lead to other problems metabolically, hormonally, psychologically, and weight loss should be slow. All right, if you want to keep it off. If you just want a quick If you just want to get ready and maybe for 2 weeks from now, maybe for a wedding or for Las Vegas, then okay, all right, maybe we'll incorporate some of this more aggressive stuff. But if we're looking for something long-term, like you're just sick and tired of all the bullshit, extreme, hardcore diets you've tried that just set you back eventually in time, then keep listening because you're going to really enjoy this, all right? So again, too aggressive. In my mind, extremes, from my experience, extremes always result in extreme disappointment. Extremes lead to extreme disappointment. Maybe not in the short term, but eventually in the long term. All right? Number 2, it doesn't optimize muscle growth, okay? I'm not saying you can't get a decent physique, but again, weight training is an anaerobic activity. It requires glucose. I'm not saying you can't function on different fuel sources, but it's not optimal. All right, I'm thinking about optimal. When I go to the gym, I want hard contractions. I want to squeeze the muscle. I want more reps. I want to pump. I want to fill my muscles up with blood so I can shove nutrients in there. I want I want the body's preferred source of fuel, which is carbohydrates. All right, so to get the amount of carbohydrates I need to achieve my goals, I can't do that in a small window. It's just like unrealistic. I don't want to sit there and eat a ton of carbs in a small window. I need them dispersed throughout the entire day. And I know that can be modified for certain body types and sizes, but for me, to optimize muscle growth, I need a sufficient amount of carbohydrates, and it's just too challenging to get those in small windows, all right? So I'm always looking at how do we support metabolism, and that's muscle growth. All right, and these big long restrictions and not eating can offset your workouts. Again, I know you're gonna find people and you're gonna drop comments saying, but so-and-so, but so-and-so, but so-and-so. And again, just because they're doing it doesn't mean it's optimal, all right? I guarantee you some of these guys who are making gains on intermittent fasting, they would make better gains if they weren't. And if they were introducing more carbohydrates in around their workout time because they're providing their body with a preferred source of fuel, all right? Number 3, these are the big ones that a lot of people aren't talking about. I don't believe in deprivation and denial, all right? The North American diet mentality has already got a huge problem with associated feelings of guilt and shame and deprivation and denial when they have to lose weight. And if that's your approach to losing weight, you have to restrict. It's going to be hard. You know, you've got it all backwards. All right, and that's typically why people can't lose weight, because they induce so much stress, they raise cortisol, causes water retention, and then they diet harder, they do something more hardcore, they do more activity, and then that escalates cortisol even more because it's just such a stressful process. So again, I'm not into creating mental warfare with yourself when you want to lose weight. I'm not into deprivation and denial. I'm into figuring out how to incorporate foods you do enjoy into your day. And for many people, that's going to be including, foods that they were hardwired to enjoy from an early age of life into their day at times in the day where now this intermittent fasting protocol is telling them you can't eat at this time of the day, you have to save it all for this time of the day. And that's just ludicrous. That's crazy. And that brings me to point number 3. Intermittent fasting challenges instinctual hardwiring to enjoy the food experience, right? Food was meant to be enjoyed. It creates experiences that we have for life. Food is one of the best parts of life, and to implement this restrictive thing into your day where you have to look forward to just a window of time where you can eat, that's freaking stupid. If I want to have bagels for breakfast because I grew up on bagels and syrup, or if I want to have grilled cheese for lunch because I grew up on grilled cheese and it just creates all these, great emotions, I'm going to eat those things. I'm not going to deny myself and deprive myself of those experiences. If I want to enjoy a nice plate of Italian pasta because that's my Italian heritage and tradition on Sunday afternoons, and I start saying, no, I can't do that anymore because this dietary protocol, that's not going to last. You're going to go against 20, 30 years of hardwiring? Are you crazy? You're asking, how do you think that's going to work out? It's going to be short term. All right, again, I don't care what the research says in terms of, yeah, but it has these benefits. Short term, if you can stick with it. All right, I don't know many people that have been doing intermittent fasting for long, long periods of time. A lot of people say, well, what about our ancestors? What about our ancestors? The only thing we have in common with our ancestors is that we were programmed to seek, want, and need food. That is normal. It is not natural to fear food. It is not natural to not want food. It's not natural to restrict and deprive yourself for long periods of time of food. That is not natural in the time that we live right now. We live in a world of abundance. Our ancestors lived in a time of scarcity. They lived out of necessity. They had to make their food choices based on the season and based on their local environment. You and I don't live in the time of our ancestors, so I don't understand why that has to do with what we're doing now. You have to embrace the time and day you were born. The age that we live in is one of food abundance, where food is convenient, it's fast, it's everywhere, it's yummy, and if you're trying to do dietary protocols that deny the state of our world right now, you're asking for disappointment, all right? You're asking for disappointment. We've been programmed from an early age to stimulate this thing in our brain called the reward center. It's the same part in the brain that gets lit up when you have feel-good drugs, all right? And this is a whole nother video, and I don't want to go down that path yet, but we have to understand that you are now following a dietary protocol that goes against your psychology. And that is going to be very, very, very hard, all right? So losing weight is hard enough, and now it's going to be even harder, okay? So again, that's it. That's all I want to say. You know, Vinny can ramble for a while. I hope most of that made sense. Again, my approach to nutrition has really changed over the last few years. I'm really trying to get away from stuff that's extreme, that's hardcore, that's not long-term. Remember, I always talk about, I want you to achieve an amazing after photo. I don't care about your after photo. I want an amazing after photo. So I want you to do things in a way that optimize metabolism, hormones, psychology, that create a healthy relationship with food so that you can stand the test of time. You don't have to rebound and bounce from one gimmick to the next. 1 month you're doing intermittent fasting, then you're doing paleo, then you're doing freaking ketogenic diet. Guys, they're all gimmicks. They're all gimmicks. They're not going to stand the test of time, all right? They have cool, sexy things associated with them because not so much, yes, there's cool research around them, yes, absolutely, but these things gain popularity because of marketing and how well they're being marketed and who they're being marketed by, all right? And if you fail to see that, well, you'll figure it out eventually, all right? I think that's all I want to say. Let me know what I missed or maybe what I wasn't fair on, or anything that you want to share. I know I probably heated a lot of you guys up. That's awesome. I hope we can have fun here, all right? Leave your comments below, all right? If you need some hand holding in terms of eating in a sustainable way, I have already designed, done for you meal plans where you can learn exactly what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. Eliminate all the guesswork, eat in a normal way where you have a regular meal cadence, where you fuel your workouts, you eat based on how much body fat you have, and you eat in a way that brings your weight up if you want to gain mass, or brings your weight down if you want to shred fat in a sensible, long-term way without deprivation, without crazy denial, without this psychological warfare going on. And if you want, you can just click the link in the description below or the link on the screen. It'll take you to a page. I got them set up at a nice discount for you guys. You can pick them up. If your nutrition is on track, you already got everything sorted, you know exactly what, when, and how much to eat, awesome. And I will see you guys all next time. Let me know what you guys want me to cover next. See ya.